Hey, everybody, I'm John Granato, and that's Lance Zierlein. We are on the bench, mornings on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. Hit subscribe so that you get all of our content here at SportsMap HOU. Yordan Alvarez, team control next year, arbitration the 3 years following that. It was around this time the Astros locked up Alex Bregman. Yordan is off to one of the greatest starts in baseball history as a hitter. I mean, his first 162 games stack up with the best of all time. You lock him up after this offseason, or maybe wait another year and try to get out of those arbitration years and maybe even add a couple of more years on so that he gets the free agency later.
I think what you could do is I don't think you want to just give away club control if you're Jim Crane. You've been paying good money to guys like Zach Greinke, to guys like Justin Verlander. You've paid some people early. You're going to lose some players. There's a good chance you're going to lose Carlos after losing George Springer. I think you wait it out, and you can always be friendly in the arbitration process. You can agree to higher numbers with arbitration. It doesn't have to get too far. You can be aggressive with the number you're willing to pay him in arbitration, which would make him and his agent happy. I think that you set a very dangerous precedent. We're already talking about this because you did it a little early, although not this early. When you look at Yordan's games played versus Bregman's, it's Bregman played way more baseball because Yordan was out last year. You had a COVID year, and then Yordan was out also basically the entire year other than one game. So I think you want to wait it, and you wait it out. You take advantage of the only advantage you have, which is club control. Because trust me, when Yordan gets a chance to put the screws to you, like every major leaguer, he's going to go out and get market value. So I think you may wait a couple years, but I'm absolutely in favor of 2 years out of getting a deal, or in some cases 3 years out, potentially getting a deal done early if they're willing to tack on a minimum of 2 years. I'd rather see 3 years tacked on to that contract, relative to the end date on arbitration. I'd like to see +3 on that.
Yeah, if I'm his agent, I'm saying slow down. Yeah, you'd like to see that, but I'm not sure I want to see that. I want to see Yordan get to arbitration as soon as possible. You're more worried about his health than I am. I know that the knee thing, the double knee surgery, really concerns you. I'm not. I see him running. I know that they're careful with him. I know that he's a DH too, so he's running a lot less. He runs a lot less because he's sometimes kind of lazy out of the box and doesn't run things out. So I'm not nearly as worried about it. I would much rather see him playing first base than left field, though, with how much you have to run in left field as opposed to first base. I think he'll be a really good you know what? He would be a wonderful bargain. If he can play first base even close to what Yuli's doing at first base for the Astros, he will be a wonderful bargain. You can open up that DH spot for another big power hitter to come in that can't run. It would be a wonderful thing for the Astros. And I might wait to see if he can play the field to give him that big contract, because he's much more valuable to this team if he's in the field.
I'm waiting it out because the longer you wait, the more that you potentially can spend via free agency to add another piece via free agency, because it's going to be a balancing game now with when you pay guys and how much you pay them. You don't want to. I think you got to be careful if you're the Astros about paying a bunch of guys earlier than you need to, because then when you're the agent for Jake Myers or Kyle Tucker or whoever, hey, you paid these guys early and you create hard feelings that way too. So, one of the guys helped you win a World Series, and Alex Bregman, in his second year in the big. So I think that, I think how you handle Yordan, I think you still have to be smart, because the only thing you have as a baseball team is club control. Because once it gets to free agency, you're going to start paying the best players a ton of money, or you're going to start losing them. So I think with the Astros, it's kind of a balancing act between maybe paying a little bit earlier and looking for value down the road with extra years, without just overpaying too early for guys who you do have club control with. I think it's an interesting dilemma the Astros have, and one that they're going to face more than most teams, because let's face it, they've had some pretty good players come through here in their lineup.
Well, we've already seen Carlos Correa is like, hey, wait a minute, you gave Bregman that big deal, and
right.
You guys fought me over $5 million in arbitration, and now, hey, I want to get my money. if Yordan gets that big contract that they don't have to go through arbitration and he adds a couple of more years, what does Kyle Tucker say? Because Kyle Tucker might be, who knows who's going to be a better player. We asked the question, and if Kyle Tucker sees, oh, you guys are taking care of Yordan, but you're not taking care of me. Well, as soon as I'm done, as soon as I'm a free agent, I'm out of here. George Springer felt much that same way because they didn't bring him up early.
Maybe
a lot of guys
agent
don't want to go through arbitration. And if you see a guy that's on the same trajectory as you are, getting that money, and you're not, that creates those hard feelings.
But it doesn't have to be as contentious. It's only contentious if the major league team makes it contentious and if the player's sitting in on these on the arbitration, because both sides are trying to argue their point. And so it doesn't always have to be contentious. You can come to agreements with money, and I think that's going to happen with Yordan. But we'll wait and see how it plays out, because he should be a core member of this lineup. You're going to lose Carlos probably. You're losing George Springer. You lost a few years ago. You lost Charlie Morton, who just re-upped again with the Braves. And I think if they had it to do all over again, the Astros would re-up with Charlie Morton. But Yordan needs to be a long-term Astro. So how they play it is going to be interesting.